Hello, is my mic working this time? Okay, great, it is. Hello and welcome back to another episode of where I just play Minecraft Dungeons. So today we're just going to be running the tower quite a bunch because I need some more gilded gear. Now, need is a strong word, but I'm trying to make a video about all the best armors in the game, and I feel like in order to give a fair shake to the armors, there are a few armors that I would like to get better versions of. For example, I want a better sturdy shulker armor. This one has Tumblebee at tier 3, which is not bad at all, and I could use it, but obviously it could be nicer. You see I got a different one, but this one just has poison, so that's not great. I have Hero's armor, which I would like to get a gilded version of. What other ones do I think would be good that I don't have? Oh yeah, Spider's armor. I think I should get a Spider's armor. That one's worth testing. And maybe a better Stalwart armor. Stalwart armor, better Troubadour armor, better Highland armor. Those are kinds of the ones that I think that I don't have, that I quite frankly think I should have, because those are good pieces of gear. On my other screen, I have my spreadsheet of all my armors. So, yeah, sorry, I never really explained what we're doing that well. We're playing the tower. This is another installation of I play a bunch of unedited footage because I completed a video that took a lot of editing, and I just want to play the game now because my computer can usually run like in most things, but it can't run my editing software and my AFK farm. So the more I edit, the less progress I make in this game, and I'm already very far in this game, but like I am getting screwed over. Jeez. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I want to play this game. No better way to play this game than to start with a good old tower. I've actually already done a few tower runs today. I just turned on the record because I wanted to just focus on playing the game. And actually, while I was just doing the tower, I made a video about this week's tower, and I posted it. And I made that whole theory about best items in like after 2-3 attempts. Not that many of the tower. So I think, yeah, the recorded one is the second or third time I played. So I hadn't been super experienced with it, but this honestly is not a difficult tower. I say yet, I've actually died quite a few times. I've never been at risk for losing. It's just if you make accidents, you get punished. But you will never make accidents twice. That is a lie. You will never make accidents the 4 times it takes in order to lose. On at least one level. Because it's only a 25 floor level, and there are some pretty good choices. And actually, there's a new choice that I did not take in the video. I did not mean to hit that. That I will be taking later. At the very end, there's a power bow, and it has a multi-shot. So, you know that's going to be used to defeat the jungle abomination. Sorry, just getting a drink. But yeah, and I really enjoyed making that tower video. I hope you enjoyed watching it, if you did watch it. And if you didn't watch it, and it's outside of the time range, I still talk about just in general good things for the tower. So you can still watch it even though it's technically not. You don't have to watch the second half. Just the first half is still going to be relevant. I'm going to try to do that for every week. That is probably not going to happen because that's a lot of content. And I've got other things to do. Those also take a long time to edit. Maybe if I make like a intro that I repeat each time and I just record the gameplay, and then it effectively can just be one of these where I talk about more relevant data. Like for example, if you watch that video, you know this is where I died in my recording. I've now since figured out that if you go up instead of down, It's a lot easier to manage. I should not have brawled that creeper, but oh well. But yeah, if you go up instead of down immediately, you stupid enchanter, then you get to dodge these creepers, and you can just force them to blow up on themselves, which makes this level a lot easier. And yeah, honestly, most of the innovations I've thought of between now and when I had the video, and not really any of them have to do with the items you gather. It's just playstyle. And actually, that kind of ties into a point I kind of wanted to talk about in this video, this long form video. I just kind of want to start talking about the builds in this game, because I'm working on the armors video. I wanted to do all the other things because, like melees and ranged, because the armor actually has a big impact on those other choices, and the other choices have a large impact on which armor you use. It just depends on which you value more. For example, I'd say in the armor category, like spoiler alert for that video, but there's going to be 3 groups. There's going to be groups, very stereotypically, the tank. They just deal a lot of damage, or sorry, they can take a lot of damage, and it's honestly not that complicated. You just sit there and take damage. That's like your stalwart armor. That's your full metal armor. That's your Highland. Actually, not really Highland armor. And also, full metal armor is yes. I'll get to that. But then the second category is like an offensive tank. It's still a tank, very much a tank. And when I say tank, like usually that means 35% damage reduction is required. Oh yeah, sturdy shulker armor I think would be in like the dedicated tank category. It doesn't have 35% damage reduction, but it does have that 50% reduction when you're swarmed, which is a massive decrease in damage. But there's a condition, and if there's a condition, that means there's a niche where it fits well, and that means there's other niches where they won't. And tanks are supposed to be very reliable, so I am hesitant on the sturdy shulker armor, which is why I want to get one, because I want to test it. But yeah, that'd be our first category of like the tanks. Like I'd say defensive tanks. Then we have the offensive tanks. So there are a large, like for example, this mercenary armor, 20% weapon damage boost aura. So that's this renegade armor, the unique version of it, and we'll get that later. The renegade armor is very firmly in the offensive tank. It has the 35% damage reduction, but the other two is obviously the weapon damage boost that we just had. But when it becomes unique, it actually gets the 25% attack speed increase, kind of like on the thief armor. So it actually helps a lot. However, like for example, there are some offensive tank builds, and like it's a subcategory of the offensive tank builds where the increase in damage is based on speed. And the reason I wanted to make this video last is because I wanted to give like other things that work well with that armor. For example, renegade armor would not do well with the obsidian claymore, which might sound unintuitive because it's a slow weapon. You can have attack speed boost to make it a bit more easy to use. And I will be doing that here in the tower. But on Apocalypse plus 25, that's a lot less viable, because Void Strike, if you're speeding up your attack speed, you're just cutting your own damage. Or you're increasing the damage from the weapon itself, but decreasing the damage that the Void Strike is amplifying it by. So in the end, it's not really worth it. So, in my opinion, all 25% speed increases should be specifically reserved for weapons that attack quick. For example, I've heard that the Fighter's Bindings actually breaks the speed cap. I don't know if that's true, and if you've watched my recent ranged video, I am very untrusting of online resources right now after getting absolutely humiliated by not understanding how the Torment Quiver worked, and I still don't. That'll be, honestly, maybe the next unedited video of just me trying to figure out how it all happens. But anyways, yeah, Resolute Tempest Knife would go great. What other fast attacking weapons? Resolute Tempest Knife, Sheer Daggers, Moon Daggers. Moon Daggers are really a soul thing. They can be used outside of souls though, actually. I don't see why... Actually, I do see why you would use them over, for example, the Moon Daggers. But, yeah. Anyways, that's offensive support. There's also the 30% damage increase, or 30% melee damage increase specifically, it doesn't apply to the bow. That one can apply to your slower weapons. If you have an offensive build, use that if you have a slow weapon. Like, for example, if I had a Starless... spoiler alert, this is my actual... Actually, yeah, I'll just talk about my actual build. Kind of a spoiler for what my favorite armor is. But I have a full metal armor, which has 35% damage reduction, 30% negate, so it's very very tanky. However, it also has the 30% melee damage increase. So it is effectively the stalwart armor. There are actually different categories, and this has always confused me because the plate armor and the reinforced mail are the exact same, down to the 100% roll cooldown increase. So I never understood why they were separate, but they are separate families. Anyways, it's effectively the stalwart armor, but instead of potion barrier, it is a damage increase. And in my opinion, this game is a lot more fun when you're dealing damage. And I'll harp on that gripe in a second when I get to it. But yeah, offensive supports, or not offensive supports, sorry, I'm thinking of my ranged video. Offensive tanks, that's renegade armor. I'd say full metal armor counts, because quite frankly, I think the full metal armor is just a very powerful piece of armor. The Highland armor gives 30% melee damage. What else gives melee damage? And by the way, this is melee damage increase, but they also have something to take less damage. So, in my opinion, I think the 30% negate and 35% reduction are almost essential. And I'll explain when they're not essential, because that's actually our third category, and that is ones that help you do extra damage don't have 35% damage reduction, but that doesn't matter because you're gonna put Reckless on them anyways. If you don't know, Reckless cuts your HP pool by 40%. So, pretty big deal. That's a lot of health gone. It's 40, right? Yeah, it's 40%. But in exchange for cutting your health, it gives you a melee damage buff. So, the reason it doesn't matter as much for, like, per se, like for a Reckless armor to not have 35% damage reduction, it's because at that point, your goal is not to take less damage, your goal is to take no damage. So, actually, the best one for Reckless is you have to have 30% chance to negate damage. I'd say that is practically essential. There's one armor I think that doesn't need it. I'll get to that in a second. Where is this last guy? I might have missed him. Yeah, also, I just kind of hopped into talking about like armors and all that stuff. That's because I've been recording for a little bit, or not recording. I've been playing for a little bit, so I didn't feel, I don't know, I didn't give a good intro. Hi, if you're new to the channel, welcome. We're playing Minecraft Dungeons. Yeah, this game is still working. It's still very fun. You should keep playing it. I have plenty of videos talking about this game, varying in quality and varying in thumbnail quality too. So just don't. Some of them are good, some of them are not. I don't like my most recent ranged one, and actually I had a 10 minutes of just pure panic because I couldn't think of something to put in the thumbnail, and in the end I came up with the thumbnail idea that the ranged video has now, and I don't really like it, but you know what, I can't think of a better one. So if you're not a fan of the thumbnail, sorry, it's kind of basic. It's the normal Minecraft Dungeons background dimmed, which I use in all my videos, or all my edited videos, and I also use for my Melee's video thumbnail. So, not a super new one, not a super flashy one, I'm sorry. But, yeah, anyways, welcome to the channel. If you've already been here, hi, welcome back. Glad you're tuning in to this not live stream. Who knows, I would do a live stream. But I'm gonna be so honest, I'm just kind of rambling, and I would not read chat. And I feel like that's the reason you would watch a live stream. Also, like, it's 2:11 p.m. on a Thursday? Yeah, it's Thursday. So the day that the range video was released today. So, if you're wondering where I am in time, that's where. Oh, there we go. So, actually, I have no idea how that video is performed. I've not checked on it. Maybe I'll check on it after this tower run. I hope it did well, because that one, honestly, I was very proud of the editing. And it took it out of me, and I say that in the video. That was my outro. I had to re-record because I was too tired to finish doing a super fancy flourish at the end. So it kind of was a fizzle out, but oh well. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I'm here, because I didn't want to work on editing something else, and I wanted to play this game. So, that's bad. So, anyways, back to our armor discussion about what the best armor may be. We have our reckless armors, and that would include, if you don't know them off the top of your head, and if you do, then congratulations, welcome to the club. They actually only 3, right? There's 3 of them that have a damage boosting thing, and also either 30% negate or a little other special thing that I'll mention in a second. So we have, obviously, actually, the full metal armor, which, if you didn't check, actually qualified for every single armor category. That's why I really like it. It feels versatile. I feel like I could do it with any enchantments. So I don't know how. I think it would classify as offensive tank, mainly because it's an offensive tank that's as tanky as a defensive tank. Because I can't think of enchantments that vary between the two groups. Obviously, Reckless has very different enchants. By very different, I mean you swap out like one. What would you swap out? I'm not sure. But I made a whole list of it. Because the main... I should also say, the main enchantments that you would want are... Actually, we'll take... No, we won't. The main enchantments you would want on an armor are Snowball, which we actually got here, which I'm very happy about. Snowball, Chilling, Death Barter. Death Barter, I've learned, is a very good enchantment. I used to not be suspicious of it, but after actively using it, I agree it is a very good enchantment. Why do I have so many enchantment points? You know, we're bringing home the bees. We're bringing the bees up. Yeah. There we go. Bee, get out of the void. You're gonna die. I love the bees. But anyways, yeah, the enchantments on the bulky ones, on the tanks, are Chilling, Snowball, Death Barter, and Cooldown. If you don't have Cooldown, I definitely say for tanky builds, Deflect. For offensive ones, I'm not sure what you would use. Quite frankly, I think that an offensive build would usually want to have Cooldown. Of course, you can always have... whatchamacallit, cooldown shot on your bow. I'm gonna say a lot of bow related things because I've had all that info stored in my head recently, so you're gonna hear a lot about bows. And actually, I learned a lot about bows while making that video. Like, for example, I knew of the mini gong. Or that's a term I coined. I don't know if that's an official coin. Official term. So, not sure. Not sure at all. But, what was I saying? yeah, the mini gong of weakening. And then we also have the utility bow. Utility bow I theorized about. I had not really had a good one to test with, but I actually got that level 260 mechanical short bow. It's not gilded. I got it from a daily trial, and I wanted to use it for two reasons. Number one, I actually really like the mechanical short bow. I just think it looks really cool. And when I first played the game, I don't know, someone told me that it was the strongest ranged weapon in the game. And I put overcharge on it, and it charged the same length as a normal bow, which is really short, actually, quite frankly. I timed him out for the video. It takes half of a second to fully overcharge with the short bow, which is actually crazy to me now. Like, overcharge is, like, thinking about it, is such a powerful enchant that I'm surprised that, yeah. The reason I didn't say it was a very powerful bow, though, in my ranged video, though, it's because you're octupling the damage, but the damage was not very high to begin with. So, you really wanted a power bow. Just wait. It's literally wait one more second for each shot. That obviously stacks, because if you're firing a lot of shots, then yeah. But if you're firing a lot of shots, just go with like a damage support. Not a bow, but like same thing. So. What was I saying? Oh yeah, armors. Offensive armor. Yeah, you wouldn't really want to use a cooldown shot bow because on a reckless build, or actually, well, we're not talking about reckless. We're talking about offensive tank. I just don't know the enchants on armors very well, quite frankly. Because I would say snowball is highly elite. That's one that is incredibly good, and it's very obvious how it's good. Like this creeper, normally would be an issue. Cannot touch me. You automatically completely remove one enemy from attacking you. And one doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually can be more because of the way it sometimes can spread out. So it is actually, it's actually better than that. Chilling is a lot harder to see why it's good, because it is not super easy to notice when the mob attacks slower or moves slower. And honestly, if you use chilling, you just start to expect them to move slower. So it's not that impressive anymore. However, chilling I think is still an elite enchantment, because it's every 2 seconds you let out a blast that freezes mobs for 1 second. That's 50% of the time that's happening, and you decrease mob speed, attack speed, and movement speed by 60%, if I'm not mistaken, at the max stacks. That averages out to 30% damage reduction, and that's just for standing near them. Like, you might say weakening is a 60% damage reduction. Well, you have to hit them, either with the bow or with the melee. You have to hit them in order to get that to happen. And like honestly, I don't like on a melee weakening, it's okay. It's a lot. It triggers, and you don't have to think about it a lot. But that's why people like deflect. I realize my playstyle is incredibly different than the way other people had played in the past, because number one, I like to vary up my builds. Number two, and this is actually because of particular armor I don't like. But I like to kind of have a not an attack style that is not just hold down A. That's why I like the offensive tanks and not the defensive tanks, because defensive tanks you just hold down the attack and wait. Offensive tanks you get to do some cooler stuff. So, that's also why I really like the Obsidian Claymore. It just feels really good to use. I'm not particularly a good fan of Echo. It feels kind of clunky to use. I would personally prefer Swirling. And I know it doesn't increase the damage by much. It just allows... Oh. Jeez. If the mob's behind you, and that's why I think swirling is still elite. I didn't grab this in the original video. Power bow, we're gonna get multi-shot on that, and roll charge. It just allows us to sneak in a little extra damage. Because it's the jungle abomination, you're gonna need it. What can we max out? Artifact use boosts damage. What level? Level 1. Okay, so it's not helpful, but we got the damage buff. Yeah. So I'm gonna continue talking about... should I? I'm gonna save talking about the rest of the armors, the reckless armors, because one of them's a segue into an armor that, like, if you've watched other people play videos, this armor is very popular for good reason. It's very powerful. I have not mentioned it by name so far, and if you watched my ranged video, I made a comment about it that may not have made sense if you may not understand. Actually, yeah, it doesn't make sense at all, actually, until you hear what I have to say about it, because, quite frankly, there should be... You might think there's no reason I shouldn't like the armor, just because it's so good. Yeah, I'll save it for after I show you what I got earlier today. Or we can talk about it now. So, this is the best armor in the game, the Wither armor. 35% damage reduction, we've already talked about how that's one of the best enchants in the game, or best modifiers in the game. 50% souls gathered, that's nice, but not completely necessary. 6% lifesteal aura. That is crazy. It is insane. For reference, leeching is one of the strongest enchants in the game. It's an enchantment slot. It's 9%, not 6%, but you have to kill the mob in order to get the healing. You don't have to kill the mob. And you don't have to deal damage with your melee. It can be with your bow. It can be with an artifact. This, in my opinion, is why the game died. The Wither armor. Because everyone got the Wither armor. It's the best enchant. You'll never die. It's really good. And it withers the fun from this game. And because of that, I already have one. I have the Spooky Gordian, which is the special event version, and I use it as my speedrunning armor, because I will never use it as a tank, because that is going to ruin my fun of this game. This armor is why Minecraft Dungeons had died. And I might make a video after my armors video specifically talking about why I think this, and I'll explain it more in my... Actually, I'll probably explain it more right now. You know what? I'm taking this Chilgal knife. Yeah, no, we're taking the Chilgal knife. We are not taking with a Wither armor. You might ask, why? Why is that a huge deal? Because when you are, like, half the fun of having a build is knowing that it is really well thought through. It is very creative. For example, that's why I like the bows, because the bows are incredibly creative. That's why I like my soul build, because my soul build, in my opinion, feels quite nice. I'll show you my very basic build. I don't think it's that complex, but each step of the way, it feels like each artifact was... number one, I like these artifacts. I enjoy using the stuff that I so happen to be using. What is that? My bow, and yeah, those are my artifacts. So this is my standard kit. The obsidian claymore, swirling, void strike, exploding, leeching. Those are all pretty standard. Leeching is for healing. When you're building a build, you always want to think about how are you healing, and healing is the biggest thing when it comes to Minecraft Dungeons. And if you had an armor that allowed you to heal really reliably, you didn't have to get a kill, it wasn't a proc thing, all you had to do was hit them, and not even with your melee, you could hit them with anything, and you heal. You eliminate the number one thing that you think about when you're building a build. And that might sound helpful to you because, like, oh, I'm really struggling. I need this armor. It's going to help me get to the top. Then do it. Please. But when you get to endgame and you start doing the tower and grinding for 263 gear, do not use the wither armor, because it will suck the fun out of building all these different unique builds. Because, like, number one, weakening doesn't become as important, or like having one of these bows doesn't become as important. It doesn't matter how much damage they're doing, because you can just heal it up. If I put this on with this, I'm healing a lot, and you can see I have a totem of regeneration. That's another form of healing. I always say you have to have at least 2 forms of healing for every single build. What are my 2 forms of healing? Leeching and totem of regeneration. And they're all different kinds. This one I get a kill, this one is just reliable by time. I just wait. This, I don't have to get a kill. I can just get this whenever I feel like it. Whenever I use any artifact. I can use, if you have lifesteal, you can use the updraft tome, or the harvester, or the corrupted beacon, and you can use them to heal you. That is stupid. I do not like this armor. I am wearing it because of Luck of the Sea, and I'm superstitious that it works on the tower. But I will not use this in an actual build. Let's play another round of the tower. I'm getting angry just thinking about the wither armor. So I'll talk about that. I'll mention that in the video. It is the best. And if you are not at this end game and you are still on adventure, I don't think you can grab it in default. I'd have to check. But if you're on adventure, or you're on apocalypse but you haven't gotten to the pluses, or you are on apocalypse plus but you're just not at 25 yet, then you're fine. Go use the wither armor. It'll help you a lot. Because also, when you're at those lower levels, you don't have the options to build super complex stuff. Like, I have a lot of gear. I can, like, handcraft builds. Like these very, like these builds that rely on multiple parts. They all go together very well. So I have those resources. If you don't have the resources, the wither armor is all you will need. Just have that, have a weapon that, literally any weapon, and you'll be fine. Like, okay. Like, I think of it like this. If you have the wither armor, you can make even the freezing foil viable. If you don't know, I hate the freezing foil. It is one of the rapier variants. It is really fast. It does no damage though, so it doesn't even matter that it's attacking really fast. It doesn't make good use of shockwave or swirling, which is usually the default for fast weapons, because it has a 14 hit combo, which is stupid. Freezing is a good enchantment. I have looked into it. Freezing is good. So I'm not gonna, it has a good built-in. But I actually like the other version, which has Busy Bee more, because if you're using the rapier, you clearly are just caring about fun, because it is a kind of funny weapon. So I think the Busy Bee, number one, it looks cooler, or sorry, the Bee Stinger is what it's called. Number one, cooler name. That's a really cool name. Freezing foil, like, I don't know. Maybe I just don't like the I don't like a lot of things about the freezing foil. Bee Stinger is funny. Bees are funny. I put Busy Bee on the Obsidian Claymore earlier, or Starless Night earlier, on the tower, and I'll do it again. I love the bees. So I think Bee Stinger's fine. I respect the Bee Stinger. I don't respect the freezing foil. But freezing foil does a lot of hits. Whenever you hit, you heal. You heal based on the damage you do, so you're still not healing that much, but you are constantly healing. And you combine that with like a lot of like non-damaging dealing enchantments. Like if you don't add committed, you don't add crit, you add, if you choose to have a weakening, non-weakening bow, which I don't know, if you're using the freezing foil, I don't know, your whole build's kind of messed up. But yeah, let's assume you don't have a weakening bow and you put weakening on your melee. Okay, yeah, they're slow, they do less damage, you're very tanky, and you're constantly healing. Like, let's say you have exploding too, so like, if you kill a mob, they explode, bingo. What are other enchantments that would be in like a very defensively oriented build? Because like, whenever I think of freezing foil, I don't like them because they lean too far into defense. they're very good for utility. But in my opinion, your melee should not be utility. This game is balanced around your melee weapon. So, in my opinion, you should use your melee for damage. And also, you're dissuaded from using your bow for damage, like consistent damage, because of the limited arrows. So, that's just how I see the game. So, I don't appreciate the really defensive weapons. Like rapier, like yes, you can put weakening, you can do all those things. If you have, I don't know how stunning would work, and I don't know why you would use it because you have snowball. But let's just like, there's a lot of things wrong with here. But like that becomes a viable build. But the reason I don't like it, it's because, let's say you're actually playing at Apocalypse plus 25. Let's say you're playing daily trials. Let's say you're collecting 6 raid captains. Number one, that means a lot of mobs are enchanted. Enchanted mobs have 9 times. Okay, you could have unenchanting, but still, 9 times health is how much health the enchanted mobs have. Doubling your damage is not going. It's still not going to be enough. So we take that daily trials, enchanted mobs. Apocalypse 25, they have a lot of health. Daily trial modifiers could be an issue. And raid captain modifiers on daily trials very frequently decrease your damage or increase mob health. Now, increased mob health, yeah, that's that's fine because you have exploding in this hypothetical scenario. Let's say, what else could they have? Like a purely supportive role. Granted, I don't think anyone would run a purely defensive weapon because, and the issue with this, you would be sitting there for literal minutes trying to kill a single horde of mobs. Now, this would work a lot better if you didn't do daily trials or you didn't pick up raid captains. But like, if you're not doing those things, why are you playing the game? And you very much, here's the issue. You very much could do raid captains and all the like daily trials with like, and I'm dogging on the freezing foil. That's just because I don't like it, and I feel like it's the best example of a defensive weapon. What's another defensive weapon? Fast attack and low damage. The maulers. I don't think anyone's arguing for the maulers. But yeah, we'll include the maulers in this. Like, maulers, not good weapons. They attack fast though. They do okay. No, they don't do okay damage. But it just makes everything viable. And when everything is viable, nothing feels fun to use. Because then, like, oh, if I could just use the freezing foil or I could just use the maulers, why would I bother trying to engineer like a build that surrounds around the fighter's bindings or the resolute tempest knife or the diamond pickaxe? Like, I can think of, like, there could be some really funny diamond pickaxe builds. For example, diamond pickaxe on which, do they both increase attack speed? Whatever the windswept peaks, that emerald armor. One of them has built-in death bar, the other one has brief invulnerability while collecting emeralds. Now, I'm just theorizing. I think that 150 emeralds is a lot to collect for death bar to become active. However, the whole gimmick I was going to talk about in this category is that you're running prospector as a legitimate thing, and like that's cool to think about. That's cool to think about, and that'd be cool to play. Like, I'd be really excited to like design a build around collecting emeralds, like an actual Apocalypse plus 25 viable build. But why would you do that if you could just run the wither armor and just have a bow or a melee that has prospector? You can even have like more than one prospector on it, and it doesn't matter because you are completely fine because you're using the wither armor. It completely robs the fun of the building aspect of this game. I've ranted about this weapon for a long time, so I'm gonna stop. I don't like the wither armor. It's unbalanced. It's too unbalanced. My fun comes from having a big spreadsheet open in front of me and thinking about the best ways to play the game. However, if I really wanted to just think of the best way to play the game, it would be Fighter's Bindings, Wither Armor, Death Cap, like Ironhide, Gong. And then Bow is a weakening bow. Bow doesn't even matter there. Bow's a weakening bow. Artifacts. I already said artifacts. Enchants. Like Chilling Snowball. Death Barter. Deflect. Like those, like, okay, armor, I will bite. Armor and chants are pretty consistent. But like your melee, nothing, it just doesn't feel, that doesn't feel fun to me. And also, I like the bigger, slower weapons because you have to kind of play around with it more. Like, for example, like right now, I can't just walk in front of the mob and start like holding down the A button. I have to dodge. Like for these snowball guys, I just walk around them, I dodge their attacks, and then I whack them. I'm not saying it's hard, but it makes it more engaging for me. Instead of I walk up to him and I hit the A button. And I could play this weapon like that, but I don't have to. If you have the Fighter's Bindings or the Rapiers, then you're kind of forced, you walk up, you poke. That's your whole gimmick. So, I don't like the Wither Armor. I personally think that's why a lot of people stopped after like being at the top, because you have the Wither Armor, you got the Fighter's Bindings, yada yada yada. There's nothing else. There's so much else. Even if it's not better, you can have other cool ways to play. Like for example, yes, my Full Metal Armor, Starless Knights combo. That build is my best, like, I think. But I have a different soul build that plays very differently. I did not mean to do that. I have a soul build that plays very differently. It is Titan Shroud, which is Wither Armor, but if it actually was balanced and didn't have lifesteal and instead had a reasonable thing like 30% melee damage. And it's even more fun to use because you do more damage with your melee, so you actually get to move on with the level. So that's why I like it. I have Moon Daggers. Yes, they do. I don't really appreciate all the super quick weapons. I like slower weapons, mainly because I like having that extra artifact choice, because without it, like Gong of Weakening is practically essential. Ironhide Amulet is essential on tanks. And like, I don't want to be restrained to the Death Cap. Because Death Cap, I will say, is like probably the second or third strongest in the game. Very situationally. In the situations it's good, it's fantastic. Doubles your damage output and makes you move faster, so it feels better to use the game. But I prefer to use Death Cap on a Reckless build, where you don't have Ironhide and you have another option for that last artifact. Because, like, quite frankly, the Death Cap and Ironhide Amulet, to make the game easier, they don't explicitly make it more fun. Like, one of my favorite artifacts is a Totem of Regeneration. That makes this more fun. Because, let's say you're being swarmed, and then all of a sudden you throw down a Totem of Regeneration. Your win condition is to stay in that circle of healing. And you can either do that by running around and dodging attacks until you heal up to be in a safer spot, or, and my personal favorite, it just becomes your little brawling area. You try to take down as much as you can, because while that totem is down, you are not going down. So, or I guess while that totem is up, while it's placed down, you are not going down. So it becomes, you place down the totem, and all of a sudden, you have to fight as much as you can in the ring, defeat as much as you can, but you gotta defeat as many mobs because you have like the consistent healing. It's like, let's just say if you had lifesteal on your armor and you were constantly attacking, that's what the Totem of Regeneration is. But like, if it was worse, and it's worse because obviously you can't move it around and it's an artifact and it's situational, but it makes it so much more interesting. Because it's not just, I'm buff all the time. you have a win condition that is clear and obvious, and that you need to strategize around. So, I've ranted way too much about how much I don't like the wither armor. Let's talk about the armors I do like. But yeah, I really don't like the wither armor. I think it ruined the game. I think this game is worse because of the wither armor. Anyways, that aside, we have... there actually is there's one other armor in the game that has lifesteal. And you might be asking, why have I not said it's at all? And that's because I think it's balanced. Not just balanced. I think it's balanced. It'd be good, and it'd be interesting to use, fun to use. And it's a spider armor. It's a variant of the thief armor, and its modifiers are 6% lifesteal and 25% attack speed. No damage defense. It's not a tanky thing. That's what's interesting. It has two built-ins, but they kind of contradict each other. One is very defensive, one is very offensive. Or they could both be offensive. Because, or quite frankly, let me rephrase. This armor is good as a reckless armor. If you have less health, you're healing more from lifesteal. See that, and at least in that situation, you turn lifesteal into a very interesting. Like you can find a way to build around lifesteal. Because yes, you do more damage, you heal more. So if you're healing, not only could you heal more by using all these things that help you deal more damage, if you decrease your total HP pool, you're still doing the same amount of damage, and your damage and the amount you heal is based on how much damage you deal. So you're healing more because you're dealing more, and you're healing more % of your health because you just have less health. It actually sounds very interesting, and I actually want to try it. That sounds like a very balanced use of lifesteal. And it was way more interesting to think about. Like, it works a lot. It does not work a lot. It is a much more specific weapon, and I think specific pieces of gear are a lot more interesting. Now you might be asking, well, you just said that you like the full metal armor, and I don't know how long I've been recording, quite a while probably, but I was talking about how much I like the full metal armor, and that fits into all categories. Yes, I wouldn't actually use it in any. I consider it exclusively an offensive tanky weapon because I like to roll if I'm using reckless. Just because, why not? So, it could fit, but it doesn't fit super cleanly into reckless, because it's attack boost, not, I guess, and the other one is the fox armor. The fox armor isn't great, but I'm coping because I have a really good one with built-in reckless, so it gets on the team because I'm sentimental towards it. And also I have the Arctic fox armor, which looks really cool, so... yeah, I'm sentimental towards it. And reckless can be put on things without 30% negate. I just think it is best with things with 30% negate. So. I gonged literally one endermite. Anyways. Yeah, so reckless armors, they deal more damage. I think they're more interesting. Anyways, yeah, I like full metal armor because, number one, it fits its niche very well as an offensive tank. It's just very well rounded. You take a lot less damage, you deal a lot more damage. It doesn't have like a way to heal you, and usually, like, I consider healing as I've said, the most important part of the game. So. It doesn't help on that front, so the rest of your gear has to deal with that. And like, quite frankly, like, they were going to do that anyways. Actually, I did have a build with my full metal armor, where it was cooldown, health, synergy. That's how I would heal. and I would permanently have... It was a really quick artifact. I think I had an updraft tome. Updraft tome's pretty quick, and I had cooldown. So I would just spam my updraft tome. Now you might be saying, I was just talking about how updraft tome... like, I didn't like the wither armor because you can use the updraft tome to heal. But that's just like a... That's because you can have the updraft tome heal you without you intentionally thinking about that. Like, the damage was nice, but I primarily... The updraft tome was on my artifacts list in place of a totem of regeneration. Now, this strategy did not work because health synergy is not good, and like I think the enchantments were on that armor cooldown. Like you can hear it, and I have cooldown, which is like a enchantment that you can have, but is one of the first ones to go. I had no death barter on this armor. I had chilling cooldown, a snowball, and our health synergy. I did not mean to drink that. Oh, well, we gotta run in. Don't knock me off. I hate you so much, Ravagers. Anyways. Also, yeah, I don't know why this keeps happening on this level. Look at the way I'm holding the obsidian claymore. Like, go back in the video and check. This is not supposed to be happening. You're supposed to hold it like a normal claymore. I walked into my own TNT. I got too busy thinking of looking at the claymore. See, now it's back to normal. Okay, yeah, no, that was very intentional, guys. Yeah. But yeah, I like the full metal armor because it doesn't answer your healing question. And I need to actually pay attention. I just think it's a more interesting armor. Quite frankly, it's a pretty fun one. And also, I know roll builds are not great, but it isn't an option with the... I was about to say, why have these guys reset? But I forgot I died. See, that's how it was supposed to go the first time. And now, I'm just going to wait here and dodge. I'm not going to aggress. Okay, now I'm going to aggress. So, it's pretty... the other interesting ones, because I like the idea of each armor having a niche. So, full metal armor, its niche is the tankiest armor in the game, while still being usable from a damage perspective. The most tanky armor in the game is a stalwart armor. Would I say that it's better on a tanky build? Yes. Or maybe. That's a maybe. It depends on your melee. I think that if you're using... Your melees have to be a lot more supportive. Like, for my full metal armor build, it allows me to deal just significant damage with my, my melee. My bow can play support since it doesn't get the damage buff. So it just feels very helpful. So, stalwart armor is also incredibly viable. You're missing out on 30% melee damage increase, but you have potion barrier, which you saw earlier on this very tower, like 2 seconds ago, is pretty nice. So, I don't think it's worse. I think it's just different. It fills a different niche. Hero's armor. Hero's armor is actually, I'd call it a gimmick armor, because its whole thing is... the unique part about it is 40% potion cooldown. It's a potion build. That is just... The goal is to abuse potion barrier as much as you can. Put refreshment on your weapon. Your goal is to get kills. You can get kills by playing super aggressively, drink a potion before you hop in, and just try to start annihilating things. Your melee can be completely focused on dealing damage. Like, honestly, I think what would be interesting is you have a mixed soul build with hero's armor, and the way that would work is you have an anema conduit bow, and everything else is supportive. It'd be like a soul hunter crossbow situation. And then your melee is the moon daggers. You put soul siphon on them. But the other enchantments, you don't have radiance. You have committed, critical hits, radiance, critical hits. You have soul siphon, and then maybe swirling. That would be interesting. Oh wait, no, refreshment. Sorry, not swirling. So your goal is to just go in, deal a lot of damage, and it honestly can do a lot of damage because that's just how Moondaggers have built-in Enigma Resonator, which now that I think about it, I did get after I did some new calculations and I did all the multipliers for critical hit stuff wrong. And I think that probably includes those guys, so they're probably knocked a step lower, but it's still a good built-in enchantment, one of the highest damage buffs as a level 1 built-in. So it's still a good weapon. You put in committed. Committed is a flat 50% boost, and then soul siphon, critical hits, because like critical. Oh, I didn't think about that. Those guys can't target you, so you are perfectly fine. Oh, I missed. No! I rolled the wrong way. There we go. Alright. So, yeah. Other armors that have niches. Troubadour is very interesting because it's the only thing that has that specific... yeah, I take the nautical crossbow. This would have been great. I already have a good one though, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Opening my mouse and looking through. Like, I'm just gonna look at each piece of armor and I can say it's a niche. And these niches couldn't exist if the wither armor was viable, because if it's so much more viable than everything else that like you wouldn't bother using any of this other stuff. Splendid rope. Major artifact damage. You put lightning focus, have a kind of soul. It's not really a soul build, but it's mainly just you use the lightning rod, you go shadow shifter, you can delete bosses without them ever damaging you. Beehive armor, that's tanky, and it has health. Actually, it's one of the only instances of health potions affect nearby allies, because you can run a pets build because you have pets, and also it's a trolley armor. It's a funny armor, but I think it's really cool. And you can have a mixed potion build with it, because if you had beast burst, you have a lot of pets, you have bees. From your armor, you have, like, honestly, you can run 3 pets as your... I don't recommend running 3 pets as your artifacts, but you could. You drink 1 potion, everything blows up, right? But if you need to do a lot of damage right now, you recall everything. Like, you have most 3 mobs from your 3 pets from your armor, like a vexing chant, let's just say a dog and an iron golem. Those are the other 2 good ones. That's 8 times, I think it's 10 million damage for each from each mob for a potion. So a single potion can do almost 100 million damage, which is great because potions usually aren't damage dealing. So that's a really interesting niche, which is, I've actually tried. It's viable if your pets can stay alive. Whoops, I didn't mean to hit that. I meant to use my mouse. I can actually look in the inventory if I have these, and I can show you them. They're not perfect, but you still get a look at them while I talk about them. Hero's armor, we already talked about. Goat gear. I have one. I know I do. Where is it? It's not super... I haven't tested it much. 40% artifact cooldown, though. Resists any form of knockback. Could be a speedrun thing. Could be a speedrun thing. Who knows? Rugged climbing gear. I don't have this one. I don't know what it does. Do I have its built-in listed? I do. Perfect. Environmental resistance. They can't all be winners. We already talked about the Titan Shroud. We have the Gilded Glory. No, we were talking about this. The Reckless. Maybe not Reckless. No, I think these would be good with Reckless because they have attack speed boost, but they do not have damage resistance. Yeah, that'd be a Reckless build with... The Diamond Pickaxe would be funny. Last Laugh is just not good enough for it. Opulent armor and gilded glory, they both could work. Troubadour. Troubadour, this unlocks a lot of interesting stuff. Oh yeah, opulent armor right here. Mine's not that great. Troubadour, it's very interesting because you can run this on a speedrun build, because that way you're cool. You can have cooldown, but then like your ghost cloak lasts longer, your shadow shifter lasts longer, your death cap or your boots last longer, or it could be a potion build. Your potion barrier lasts longer. You can see I kind of have this one's potion barrier leaning, so that'd be interesting. Ember robe, verdant robe, you know these. They're speedrun. Where are they? I have an okay version. Yeah, here's my ember. I messed up. Let's sort by name. That'll be easier. Ember robe, that's fine. And verdant robe here. Speedrun. Yeah, I tried this for speedrun. I actually prefer speedrunning with a defense armor because I speedrun the ancient hunts, and the ancient hunts you kind of need to fight. So, you know, it's okay. Then we have the wither armor. We're skipping over that. Guard's armor is actually really weird because it is not a unique, and it has no unique variant. But I look at this and I think this could be a ranged build with like a fireworks with with quivers. Archer's armor is another ranged build. This one I think is a better ranged. It's the best ranged leaning one. Move speed aura is really just it's nice to have. Range damaged plus 10 arrows. This plus, I'd say like a crossbow. Crossbows, in my opinion, are easier to use. Harp crossbow, that comes to mind. It's one of the good damage supports. Oh, sorry, tired. Renegade armor. It's just good for dealing damage. Any weapon that wants to go fast should be played with the renegade armor. Because it's just really tanky. It's great. It's if you don't want to use reckless. Mystery armor, I'm not going to talk about it because that can be literally anything. The Shadow Walker, rolls, damage reduction. Could it be a funny dynamo build or a roll charge build? It also has the faster roll, which actually is important if you want to speedrun Soggy Cave. If you want me to elaborate on that, comment and I'll make a video on that. It's actually kind of funny. The Frostbite. I have nothing positive to say about the Frostbite. Souls and ranged damage, I'd say Torment Quiver, but like that's like an like this is a torment thing. This is only good with the Torment Quiver. That's this thing's niche. Is that a good niche? I'm not particularly fond of the Torment Quiver right now, so I'm gonna say no. This is actually it's a fine armor. I'm not feeling very warm to the Torment Quiver right now. Golden Piglin armor, potion artifacts. Interesting. I'd have to do a lot more theorizing on this one. Next up on my list is Full Metal Armor. We already talked about it. It's very well rounded, and it mainly allows you to focus on your other stuff. That's the advantage of the Full Metal Armor. It is a very solid piece of gear that is self-contained. It doesn't leach out into the other stuff. It doesn't provide healing for your melee or your bow or your artifacts. Doesn't provide healing at all. It actually everything here is focused on defense. Cooldown is focused on your artifacts, but that can be replaced with deflect, and then you run a cooldown bow. Like you can still have so much working with it. Black spot armor. What does that one do again? I don't even memorized it. Oh, more potion stuff. Yeah, this is everything here reads potion. Reset artifact cooldown. What artifacts have a long enough cooldown where that would be relevant? Gong. Interesting. I'm not sure about this one. This one's interesting. Totem of shielding. You wouldn't run cooldown on this. You'd go into potion stuff. Speaking of potion stuff, next on my list is stalwart armor. Yeah, we already talked about it. Very tanky. Yeah. Highland armor. Highland armor is actually a sleeper pick. It's actually not bad because 30% reduction and also 35% damage reduction and 30% melee damage. That's pretty nice. Swift-footed is just convenient to have. Not particularly helpful, but it's very, very convenient. The sturdy shulker armor. I've talked about this. I think it's a fantastic tank thing. Why do I have two of these? Oh, because one's terrible. I think I got the good one today. Yeah, sturdy shulker armor. It could be really good Mobs target you more is actually not an issue at all. It's actually kind of convenient. It also looks kind of cool. It's really funny with the head floating around, but it's actually kind of funny. It's pretty cool. This one I'd like to test more. It seems very interesting to use, but it's still very self-contained. Frost armor. This one would serve a similar purpose to the full metal armor. The frost armor, 35% damage reduction and chilling. What just happened? Whoops. 35% damage reduction and chilling. That allows you to actually it allows you to not run a cooldown bow if you're really adamant about that. How did those come off charge? I'm so confused. So it opens up opportunities for your bow. Soul Dancer robe. This one I really wanted to do with like a heavy soul artifacts thing. 50% artifact damage. You add soul focus. This can do a lot of damage with like the harvester and the torment quiver. But you know, a lot of options. Cave crawler, sweet tooth. I don't have sweet tooth. I just have cave crawler. Yeah, pets, damage, artifacts. I don't know if artifact damage includes pets. If it does, this is an insane thing. I'd have to test that. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Living Vines armor. What does Living Vines armor do? Do I even have that one? I don't think I have this one. Isn't this the one I've been searching for? No, I do have it. L. Oh, there it is. Oh, I do have one. Roll build. Yeah, dynamo, roll charge, the whole shebang. Burst bowstring. Squid armor is same thing. That's next on my list. I'm spending a long time just here in the menu, but you know, I'm kind of thinking through each piece of gear and its viability. And if you're too tired to wait for the well-edited version of this, then yeah, that's right here. Move speed, rolling. It could be speedrun, could be a roll build. Roll builds are not incredibly good, they're just funny. Spider armor, yeah, we already talked about this. Unstable robes. You want another roll build. Nimble turtle armor. This one's a good healing thing, and it makes it, because it's 25% healing boost, this actually makes the totem of regeneration like much more viable. The issue is usually that artifacts can't reach 263, they only max out at 256. So artifacts that heal aren't as viable, but this honestly makes it pretty good. And rush is just convenient. Black wolf armor, it's fine. I don't think it's particularly interesting. Just damage, nothing else. Fox armor, 30% negate, extra damage. This is a great reckless one. This is my reckless thing I run. I run cooldown, death barter, chilling. I don't know if chilling is the best there, or snowball should be there. I don't know which one it is. I'm still theorizing about this. That's what I like. Since I don't consider using the wither armor, I feel perfectly good using all this other stuff. How long have I been recording? I have my spreadsheet up, not OBS, so I have no longer... Only an hour, 8 minutes. Where we'll go... Let's do one more. Oh, I never showed you what I got earlier today. Quite frankly, I don't remember anymore. I got this cauldron armor earlier today, I think. Oh, wait, no, yeah, it's right here. Whirlwind, this one's fantastic. Vine Whip, it's okay. Good enchantment, but it's only level 2. That's unfortunate. Cursed Axe, it's Radiance. I don't know. This could be funny. This could be really interesting with a death cap. That's why I like the tower. Sometimes you're just kind of slapped into something that doesn't make sense. Where's my renegade armor? Something, what's attack speed boost? Oh, there it is. Found it first. Do you do something like this? How fast does the cursed axe go? Because you could run a crit set on this. That could work. See, there's so much to still think about in this game. And as long as you keep your mind open about the armors, which you do by not using the broken one that makes all of them irrelevant, then you can enjoy this game so much more. Like, I love just thinking about all these different builds and combos, and I think the wither armor completely ruins it. So, One more tower. My goal is to get one of those armors that I want to try out, but I don't have a good one yet. I'll still do some testing. If I don't get it now, after I do this, I'll probably do some ancient hunt grinding. And I'd like to mention, yes, I am aware of like uploading my save to get. And if you're not aware, there's a thing you can do. Fun fact: you can upload your save to the cloud. So in case you, excuse me, in case you delete your save file, you can just re-download your character and you don't have to restart from all the beginning. But you can also have multiple characters on one account at the same time on one device. So let's just say I were to have, let's say I have like a piece of gear that I want to re-roll enchants on. I have only like 500 pieces of gold though. Like the chances of me rolling exactly the enchantment I want is not going to be super likely. So hypothetically, I could upload my character to the cloud before I spend any enchantment points on re-rolling anything. And instead, I upload it to the cloud and then I go re-roll on the enchantments. Let's say I re-roll twice, or 3 times, or 4 times. I think 4 times is the most realistic. 4 times, and I don't get it. I don't get the thing I want. So I rage quit and delete my save. And then I go and download the save that I backed up in the cloud where I hadn't spent the gold yet, and I re-roll the enchants again. Now it is kind of a time-consuming process. If I have gear I need to re-roll enchants on, I will literally like set aside a break time for that, and I'll just turn on like a 30-minute YouTube video and start rolling away. That's only if I have like 3 pieces of gear. Like each one needs like 1, 2, hopefully not 3. Usually it's around 2 enchantments that I need to re-roll. Yeah. And if you really got exploitive with this save data, you can upload your character and then download without deleting your previous one. And you could have 2 controllers and you log on to local multiplayer. And you log in with 2 save files of your own character. And then you gift wrap your own gilded items to yourself, to the account you're going to primarily use. The lesser used account donates a piece of gear to the more used account. The more used account salvages it. The used account deletes itself, and then you roll again. You download again, you give another piece of armor, another piece of gilded gear. It's infinite. Now, I will confess, I do the first one. I was not going to make that video with the bows and have, like, half of them were enchanted, and that cost me so much gold, even with doing this reroll strategy, because for time's sake, I don't just do 1 reroll. I ran so low on gold, I could only do 2 before resetting. 2 rerolls per enchantment I needed. I started with doing 4. And I spent over 2,000 gold on that video. So I am currently bankrupt. Oh, you can't see it here. Oh, well. But I will not do the second thing I was talking about. That one just feels dishonest. Like, the first one, it's like, I'm still paying up. And I'm doing everything as I should. I just hypothetically got more lucky. But yeah, the other one just feels like too far of a step for me. I won't judge you for doing it. I'm just saying, me personally, so I like to grind this game. So I am perfectly fine with running endless ancient hunts to get gold. And it gives me an opportunity to like optimize speedrunning. Because I've optimized. You might be wondering why I use the wither armor, the spooky Gordian. Sorry, I will not refer to it by its lesser name. I use the Spooky Gordian for my speedrunning. It has no speed buffs. Number one, it's because I think it's really funny to take the tankiest armor in the game and use it for speedrunning for a completely different purpose. I just think that's funny. And secondly, I think that it's really cool to use armor that has 35% damage reduction and that is not forced to run quick. Because honestly, I prefer to use the Shadow Shifter compared to Deathcap, Ghost Cloak, Boots of Swiftness. I tend to go Boots of Swiftness, Shadow Shifter, Ghost, and then Deathcap. I don't have the Ghost Cloak, that's my trade. Wait, did I miss the totem? No, I haven't. Anyways, so I'll do that, and the reason why it's because number one, less chance of getting hit, and I already have a lot of soul stuff, so it doesn't really bother me. But you might wonder, why am I so focused on being defensive while speedrunning? I have a more defensive armor and a more defensive artifact. That's because defensive artifact, just because in my opinion, I think it's less stressful. And I can turn my brain off a bit more when I speedrun, which is, like, you could call that a negative, and it can be a negative if you're speedrunning for fun. I'm speedrunning because I'm grinding, and I'm having fun because I'm also doing something else that's fun, like watching a cool video. But I'm speedrunning ancient hunts, which means I'm trying to go from dungeon to dungeon really quickly. If you want a tutorial on how to do that, I can also make one of those. I've gotten really good at analyzing the map. But yeah, when you go in the dungeons, in order to get the gold, you gotta fight for it. So I don't like using speedrunning armor because the most annoying thing that happens if you're speedrunning is to die. And if I'm fighting, I'm gonna need damage reduction. So I would actually, and also I use the Wither armor specifically because it has 50% more souls gathered. So it's a lot easier to work with. Because I just get more from Soul Siphon. That's how I gather for my Shadow Shifter, because it costs souls. Powersmith. It's Corrupted Cauldron. I'm gonna wait for my potion. I'm gonna need it. So, yeah, that's my speedrun gear. Its enchants are Speed Synergy, which is not a common one. It has protection built in, but like that doesn't matter. Speed Synergy, cooldown, and Luck of the Sea. Quite frankly, put that on any armor, and it becomes viable as a speedrun. So, I don't know how I did that attack cancel and instead applied the echo to my second hit. That's cool. I wish I knew how to do that consistently. I think it's because I gonged in the middle. I gonged really early. Okay, that's cool. I'm still learning new stuff. I also think it was a bug, so I won't try to replicate it too much. But anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, speedrunning. Yeah. So I'll get gold the old-fashioned way. I will not be using this gilded gear illegally. I will be using this gilded gear perfectly normally. And actually, speaking of my gilded gear, there's a lot of the gear that is okay. It is not perfect. And for some of them, I have better versions. And I was thinking, and if you're watching, you clearly like this game and you're clearly engaged, and hopefully you didn't just forget to turn this off and you're 5 miles away. I was thinking about doing gear giveaways. Like, I've just grinded for gear. I found good stuff, good gilded stuff that you could use, and I can gift them to you with the gift wrapper. Now, logistically, this would be hard to set up, and massive risk for like security breaches. So Don't play with strangers online, kids, or at least don't do it too closely. And I don't want to engage with that because that I could see that as becoming a future issue. If I mess up. So I need to figure out a way to do it safely, but if I could, I was very interested in doing gear giveaways. So that, I mean, yeah, all I do with it now is if it's really good or decent, at least I hoard it. I only have such a large storage chest though, so I do salvage some of them. But for the really good ones that other people would find viable, but if I just have better ones, then I'll just use my better one. Like for example, that tier 3 Tumblebee shulker armor. I could do something with that. I could engineer a roll pets build. That is... I don't see how, though, those things corroborate with it being a sturdy shulker armor. And of course I like making builds, but I like making different builds, and I like making them optimal. I like them, like, I don't just like playing optimally, I like having different optimal builds. For this specific niche I'm trying to do, this would do it best. So that's my goal with having niches. That's why I don't use the wither armor, or else I'd have no fun in this game. So constantly switching up playstyles. I'd still like the playstyle to actually make sense though, because if it's a roll build or it's a pets build, but it's supposed to be a tanky build and you sacrifice on one of the good enchantments in order to get there, which means probably cooldown, so you'd run a cooldown shot bow, but which one and how would it tie into the rest of the build? What would your melee be? You probably wouldn't want to run beast burst because you're already running low, you already don't have many. And like shulker armor is like an actually decent armor. It's not super trolly, so like you'd probably want the actually good enchantments, or you could just do like a beehive armor, and be troll. But like the beehive armor is like really silly in like a lot of ways. The sturdy shulker armor itself is silly, but it's like still viable. Silly in the sense of the floating shulker head. But yeah, that one. That's an example of something that is good. I don't want to salvage, especially since I don't have a better one yet. But if I do get a better one, I probably wouldn't immediately salvage it. So I could just, if someone else wants it, I could do like a... I don't know how many people would want this. I don't even know how many people are going to hear this. If you are here listening to this right now, number one, holy jeez, thank you. I feel really moved when people watch like these videos. I was impressed that people watched the other one, the dish vibing with mushrooms. Okay, it was an insanely good thumbnail. I was really proud of that one, and a good title too. It was a good combo. So actually my favorite. But like this is a lot, and people stayed for a while. And I'm so sorry I'm blinking on whoever actually left a comment on, but oh my gosh. I was driving then, and I received a notification that there was a comment. No, don't do this, kids. But I looked at it at a red light, and I was stunned. So, oh my gosh, I was really moved when that. So yeah, thanks for watching my content. I really do appreciate it. And if you're watching this one by chance, I don't know how good the thumbnail is going to be, and this is the other one I asked the question like 30 minutes in. I am at the I'm an hour and 25 minutes in. So I don't know who's going to hear this one, but if you do hear this one, you get first dibs on my gear giveaway if I ever end up doing that. And if you do end up commenting and you do ask about that, then yeah, I'm gonna make that happen. So that just be my thank you to you for supporting me, because I'm just doing this YouTube because I like Minecraft Dungeons. I don't get paid for this. I spend a lot of time on these videos, because I just like Minecraft Dungeons and I like video editing. So I didn't expect people to like watch these videos. Not just because I also didn't think there was an audience for this. So it's been really nice to see that people are still out there enjoying Minecraft Dungeons. So thank you. Yeah, but if you comment, yeah, you get first dibs on a gear, and I'll get you something good. I will get you something good. I have a good cursed axe with built-in refreshment. You could take that. Especially if I want to do something stupid with my brand new radiant, or you could take my radiant one. That one's really interesting. That one I'd recommend if you're top tier. Oh yeah, and by the way, if I transfer them, I don't think they will be 263. Unfortunately, I don't think it transfers that, but it will keep its guild. So yeah, there's a lot of logistics I need to figure out, and actually I need to sit down and just do a lot of like textbook research and maybe put some recommendations for the Minecraft wiki to fix its stuff. Stupid overcharge. Format quicker. But yeah, I'll look into that. Yeah, I'm running out of things to talk about. Kind of my main topic was armors. Kind of talked about that, and I spent a long time just not playing the game and just exclusively talking about armors. So congratulations, you also. Oh my gosh. Anyways, you got a sneak peek at my next video, so you already know the main points. So if you were just looking for the info, congratulations, you have it. I'll still be obviously making a armors video in a more concise format. I'm also like I have a few video ideas that I want to do. And it's after the builds thing, after the armors, I'll do like an actual specific builds thing, where I have some full sets that I recommend. And I'll do a little bit of that with the armor, but it'll be more like with this armor you can run this build or this build or this build. It's not that those are the best for those builds, it's just they work in them. So I'll make a full builds video, and then I've had this idea for a second. I'm not good with YouTube Shorts. I've posted one, and the thumbnail automatically went to the Kool-Aid Man, so whoops. But yeah. I was thinking of making a YouTube short series where I go through each weapon, like its unique variant, and I kind of talk about it again, and say where you can find it, and like give a more, kind of just break down the Melee's video into a short series. And now the modifications I would make, I would not have it be the exact same. It would be actually different, because I have that Melee video, I will say, is an oversimplification. Some of those that were in A tier, I think, are better than others than some in S tier. Oh, so I tanked up for nothing. Lovely. That was not smart. Oh my gosh, and all my tanky stuff disappears as soon as I come back. What are they targeting? Anyways. I'd make a shorts video. I'd kind of go over specifically what it is good for. I will use different enchantments other than shockwave, swirling, critical hit, and radiant. And also, yeah, I've learned on really fast weapons that can take a good use of critical, or of committed. Committed is a better damage buff. It is more situational. Like, for example, I wouldn't put committed on... What's a fast weapon that just... not super fast, but like moderately fast? Let me check. Was Cutlass? Yeah, Cutlass. Cutlass was a fast one, but I wouldn't call it outrageously fast. Wait, no, was it fast? Or is this in the Void Strike? No, they're crit. They're crit. Yeah, I'd still run crit on them. They're too slow. Because the issue is with committed is if you attack in giant bursts, the committed doesn't activate as well. Like Fighter's Bindings, yeah, go for committed. I did the math wrong, and honestly, I just assumed critical hit would be better because it's a powerful enchantment, and it just sounds better. But committed is normal strength, so I didn't think it was... I knew it was good. I thought it was second. Turns out it's first. So that is my mistake. I'd still say first is Void Strike, and actually I might have done my Void Strike numbers slightly wrong because I tested on the dummy, and I didn't realize this until much later. But the dummy Void Strike effect wears off faster than on normal mobs. So, and the way I did it was I timed the time that the dummy was like afflicted for, divided that by the 600% damage increase. That was, and then I did some math based on the timing of your attack, your average attack timing. So how much, and on average how much that would increase. Not exact math, but generalization. But now that mobs have the effect for longer, that might mean that the boost is not as much as I thought it was, or I calculated. Granted, that is perfectly balanced, and I was wondering on why they let a 333 damage boost. I think I actually calculated it lower because I calculated it as a multiplier, not a increase. But I think I'm just gonna go with increases because I've been struggling with thinking of math. Sorry guys, I like math, I'm not good at it. So I need to redo the enchantments, and a lot of weapons don't actually need shockwave. I will stand by swirling is B. What the heck? I will stand by swirling is a really important enchantment, just because for crowd control, if you are playing in a way where you like rush in, like a lot of the weapons, they have good area, but the area is for mobs that are just in front of them. So the mob comes from behind while you're already busy trying to deal with a horde from in the front. Swirling is not going to do a lot of damage, but it is some damage, and it'll help. And it definitely, and it also just does. It also increases the damage you're doing, like actively in your range. Like for the Obsidian Claymore, you can see its attack. That's the side. That's in front. I put swirling on mine, number one, because that's what's built in, and I don't have a choice. But I would have done it anyways because if a mob approaches me, and like in Apocalypse plus 25, there's mobs everywhere. So I think swirling is still a valuable enchantment on most melees. Do I think shockwave is necessary? No, I never was as big of a fan of shockwave as I was of swirling. Number one, swirling actually does even more damage, and it has a more helpful range of damage because most weapons attack in front. Very few very few melees attack behind them. Like that's why the double axe is actually pretty neat, because you don't need to have shockwave swirling. It's interesting though, you can still put shockwave on it. Oh, not shockwave, swirling on it, and you just do really well. And that's why I like it for refreshment builds, because you just hop in the middle of a horde of mobs and you eliminate them. Now, yes, they don't allow you to proc leeching or refreshment, if I'm not mistaken. So that could be an issue if you see it as an issue. I don't really think so. You're usually fine. Yeah, you're usually fine. That's why also I like swirling. It's a lot easier to control. If you need leeching healing, then you can reliably get it. Because like if I need healing, I will attack him head on. But if I don't really care, then like they can be behind me and it's not an issue. So I still think swirling is fantastic. Void Strike is still fantastic. Leeching is still fantastic. Exploding, I've done more testing. I really like exploding. So yeah, exploding goes on your slower weapons. Now, damage is not consistent, but it is like, it is very noticeable. I'm gonna die. I wasted a good 2, 1. Nice. I'm sorry, I kind of locked in. I lost track of what I was thinking. Oh, I was talking about exploding. Well, thank you, Shivering Bow. That is okay, but not good. That is not good. Honestly, I've been waiting for a... This could be good. Because I currently have a Shivering Bow with Gravity. Gravity 2. So... And I've tried using it for a general soul build. This one could be nice. Anema Conduit, Exploding. Would this be Torment? It kind of has to be Torment. Torment Explosion? I guess that would work. Growing. Already has Growing. Anema Conduit, Soul Siphon. What am I missing out on? I'm missing out on Overcharge. I can't have Overcharge, Supercharge. This can't be Soul Siphon then. This would be more offensive compared to a bad weapon with a enchant that does not work well on it. I have my pick. So, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to hit the stop recording button now because it's a long recording. So, yeah, so our haul, the Shivering Bow, this nautical crossbow. Wait, we've gotten 2 exploding crossbows. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I was saying exploding is good. On faster ones, I think shockwave swirling is still good. Unenchanting is always an easy answer to say. Yeah, it's good. It's a good enchantment. I'll just say flat out. Yeah, why not? Oh, we also got this axe. Did we get this axe now? I think we got... Or did we get this axe earlier? And we got this axe now, didn't we? I think so. Oh, we got this knife now. It's not good, and it is worse than my other knife. But I did not want to take anything else. This cauldron armor is the same as a full metal armor. It looks way cooler. This is... And it stirs? Oh my gosh. I'm using this. I'm sorry. I have a perfect full metal armor. Like actually perfect built-in chilling. I can do something with this. Protection. If I do deflect, I can make a gimmick where I just try to make it as like the tankiest, just brute tankiness. No debuffs on others. Like okay, what would it be? Deflect. Oh, definitely deflect though. Deflect and then. Obviously Death Barter. Maybe Life Boost? Final Shout. I'll try something with this. You'll see in a future video me using this. This is so cool. It's... Oh my gosh, and the face blinks. Oh my gosh. Wait. Oh my gosh. Wait. That's such a cute trail. Wait, I need to roll again. Oh, I can see it. I don't know if it's... No, I can see it right now. Okay. What's my gimmick? I know. Potion. It looks like it's a cute design. Hold up. Wait. Where's my axe? This other axe. Built-in refreshment. If I have a bow that is supportive, or I could have even a damaging bow that has refreshment, I put potion barrier, death barter, death barter, and deflect. I just become super tanky. What are my artifacts? This is a slower weapon. I could do Void Strike. Okay, well, I have to get... No, I already have it on here. Leeching is just good practice. Either of these, but maybe not. I could do Exploding. Exploding doesn't... Oh, I already have Exploding. You're right. Void Strike, probably. I can move Crit over. When I say move Crit, I mean I take this off and I put it on over here. See, this is... Oh my gosh. Wait, hold up. These match too. These aesthetically match. Okay, I don't like what it does to my cape. Is there a different cape that would look better? I really don't... No, that's kind of awkward. Okay, well, whatever it is. See, you just saw me authentically enjoying the building aspect of this game. Oh, he shook his head. He shook his head. Okay, this is getting a shout out in my armor video. This variant, if you can get this variant, I'm going to use this. I'm using this. And it's of my favorite armor variety. New favorite armor in the game. But anyways, that'll wrap it up for today. Oh, it's stirring. This is so cool. And it's shaking. Are those little pot handles on my shoulder? I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep working on this thing. I'm gonna export this, and hopefully it doesn't mess up. I don't want to edit an hour 40 minutes. 40 minutes now. Gosh. Anyways, I thank you so much for listening. I've had fun. I hope you had fun. Oh, the cauldron did not have fun. He shook his head. And I'll see you next time. I might do another one of these where I'm just running through ancient hunts because I am still broke. So I still need to do that. I said I was going to do that before, but I chose to run the tower because I was looking for armors. And boy, howdy did I find armors. Anyways, that'll wrap it up. I will see you next time. Bye!